Justice A.K. Ganguly has evaded any action from the Supreme Court panel constituted to investigate him. Despite the fact that he's been found to have indulged in, and I quote, unwelcome behavior, the high-profile panel thought initiation of any action was beyond its mandate. But there is trouble brewing for Mr. Ganguly. Here's why.
Not the words you would expect to hear from a man found guilty of unwelcome behavior, charged by those who were once his colleagues. The highest court of the land finding him prima facie guilty of the charge of sexual harassment, but cited legal restraint from initiating any action against him.
This appoints me as a member of the legal fraternity that the Supreme Court has now chosen to do away with the matter by saying that he was no longer a judge.
But the former judge cannot breathe easy for three main reasons.
The first reason, late last evening, the Delhi police sent an email to the ex-intern and now lawyer who had made the allegation.
We have requested her to indicate time and place where a statement can be recorded.
National Commission for Women has said that they will pursue the case regardless of what the Supreme Court has said.
महिला आयोग इसमें जरूर स्टेप लेगा और पीछे नहीं हटेगा.
Reason 3. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's letter to the President of India, Pranab Mukherjee.
The fact that the Supreme Court, which dispenses justice, for it to ignore injustice within its own premises is not something that any Indian would be comfortable with.
The similarities of the allegations against two high-profile individuals is uncanny. But the kid gloves with which Ganguly is being handled raises several questions. Why is the President not asking the former judge to step down as the West Bengal Human Rights Commission chief? Should the Supreme Court probe panel headed by the Chief Justice of India have named the victim along with the accused former judge? What was the purpose of the Supreme Court panel if not to determine guilt and initiate action? And why is the Delhi police dragging its feet on filing an FIR against Ganguly?
अगर ये सत्यता है तो खुद ही उन्हें अपने पद से अलग हो जाना चाहिए और उसके बाद जो कार्रवाई है वो कार्रवाई हो.
It's been a year since the intern faced sexual harassment at the hands of a man she worked for. Let's hope the wheels of justice don't move extra slow for one of its own. With Jaskirat Singh Baba and Kamaljeet Sandhu in New Delhi, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
And joining me this evening on Newsnight, Subramaniam Swamy, senior leader of the BJP, Vikas Singh, who's former additional solicitor general, and Shabnam Lone, who's a lawyer in the Supreme Court on Newsnight. Let me start with you, Subramaniam Swamy. You were among the very few who was defending Justice Ganguly all along. And while everybody was demanding his resignation, I'm going to quote you. You said, anyone can make allegations. Why should Justice Ganguly resign? There is no FIR. Let me draw a comparison, which many are saying, with the editor-in-chief of Tehelka magazine, Tarun Tejpal's case. And at that point, you said the government is treating him with kid gloves.
Yeah.
Here is a case of Justice Ganguly, who's also been found, as far as the probe panel is concerned, the fact-finding panel has said that he is guilty of unwelcome behavior. Isn't the government treating him with kid gloves as well?
Well, I don't know whether the government is treating him with kid gloves. They should have by now registered an FIR. I don't know what the delay is about. But say, I was not defending Justice Ganguly so much as making out a principle. In the case of Tejpal, his emails and his apology and his stepping down for 6 months, that was an admission that something had happened. Here, there is no admission. A girl makes an accusation, and the Supreme Court has set up a committee, and the committee report was imminent. So I was only keen that we wait till the Supreme Court report comes out and then take action. And since yesterday night, I've been now saying that the NFIR should be registered, and Mr. Ganguly's position as a chairman of the Human Rights Commission has become untenable.
No, but let me ask Mr. Singh as well, Vikas Singh. Do you think it is right to leave it to Justice Ganguly, as the picture appears at this point, to decide when he is going to step down as the West Bengal Human Rights Commission chief? The pro panel has come out with its fact findings, and I'm going to draw the analogy again with the Tehelka case in this, because when Tarun Tejpal wrote that first email, he said, I'm recusing myself as the editor of Tehelka magazine, and many had criticized him. And this is not about, in any way saying that his case was less, but many had criticized the fact that is just stepping down enough. In this case, Justice Ganguly is not even doing that.
Well, I don't think it is right to draw a parallel between Tehelka and here, because Tehelka was a much more serious case, and it was a case of rape, and it was a case after the amendment to the IPC had taken place. This is a case of section 354, unamended 354. Now, in my view, firstly, there should not have been any panel in this case at all, because you see, you are actually compromising both the law and turn as well as Justice Ganguly. If the panel had taken a view that there is nothing in the matter, do you think that the girl would have got justice? Or if the panel now says that Justice Ganguly did not behave appropriately, do you think that when the matter goes to trial, the magistrate will not be influenced by this finding by 3 judges who have actually examined the girl, taken affidavits, examined Justice Ganguly, and then recorded a finding that there is a prima facie case? Now you are actually upturning the entire justice delivery system. The evidence is
so
to
you
be
do
taken
agree with
before
Kapil
the magistrate
Sibal?
when the
No, so you do agree with Kapil Sibal when he says what was the point of forming this?
Definitely, the panel first. Yeah, if you had formed the panel, then you should have taken it to the logical conclusion. If you were going to take a view that he is retired, then you should not have formed the panel in the first place, because you knew he was retired even the day you made the panel. So what was the purpose of making the panel if you ultimately don't take it to the logical end? Because ultimately, if the panel has taken the view that there was inappropriate behavior and that is a criminal offence, cognizable offence under the IPC, then if you see the CRPC section 154, whenever a commission of a cognizable offence is known, an FIR is to be registered. So the least that the Supreme Court could have done was to refer the matter to the local police and say, please register an FIR and investigate the matter further. So in my view, Justice Ganguly and Tehelka, the first question that you asked me, parallel, is not correct, because Tehelka was trying to actually decide what punishment he should get for a very serious offence of rape. So stepping down is not a punishment. Justice Ganguly...
what I was saying was, even that step was criticized. No, here I am saying Justice Ganguly is not even stepping down. He is being asked to again and again, repeatedly, there are protests that are happening. But Justice Ganguly seems to suggest that he is very irritated every time he is asked a question about this, where he is completely trivializing not just the charge but the findings as well.
No, I fully agree that he should step down, because it's more in the realm of propriety than legality. Legality wise, there is no conviction till today, there is no FIR today, so in that sense, but there is a credible allegation, and that credible allegation has been held to be credible by 3 Supreme Court judges. So I don't think why Justice Ganguly should not resign immediately. I mean, when you hold a very high office, and especially when you are holding an office of human rights, to say that I will not resign because there is no FIR or there is no conviction, what kind of faith will people have if he heads the Human Rights Commission? I mean, there will be women also coming to him with similar kinds of complaints. Do you expect justice from him if this is the kind of allegation that he is facing, which has already been held to be credible by 3 honorable judges of the Supreme Court? So propriety demands that he should resign. But the fact that he will resign or does not resign either in Tehelka or here does not make any difference on the criminal case. The criminal case has to take a completely different...
No, my question is, and for the viewers also, they need to understand, when it comes to Justice Ganguly and the charge is as serious, why should there be an issue of propriety that's brought in? It's a crime. Why aren't we looking at the judiciary with kid gloves? Wasn't this a test case for the judiciary, which they perhaps have disappointed many with the way they came out with this the result? But why should we talk about propriety? It's a crime.
Well, first of all, I have a disagreement with Mr. Singh on the question that the Supreme Court has said that there is a prima facie case made out. What the Supreme Court says is that after seeing her oral and written statements, they have come to the conclusion that she has made out a cognizable offence, since a cognizable offence has she's alleged a cognizable offence. That's sufficient to register an FIR. That they weighed the evidence of Mr. On both sides and then came to the conclusion, yes, there is a prima facie possibility that some untoward unacceptable behavior unwelcome behavior has taken place. That I don't think the reading of what I have only seen those 2 pages. I have not seen the whole report, and the 2 pages doesn't show that. Now the issue basically is this, that if this girl tomorrow tells the police that yes, I would cooperate with the investigation, there will be an FIR immediately. Now they are going to ascertain that. What she has said on her own blog and later on in 2 interviews, one to the Wall Street Journal and the other to the Justice, is that she says that there was no physical hurt or it was a misbehavior.
Right.
And that's bad enough. I mean,
yes.
I'm not saying that that's something to be taken lightly. But there are questions also today that will be raised in Ganguly's defense, and I don't know what value the weight would be. Why should a girl, and that too belonging to the Christian community, go on Christmas Eve and be there at 8 to 10:30 p.m. in a hotel room alone? I mean, I would think that those questions will also be raised. So
are you suggesting here something, or
I don't know. See, this is why investigation is so important, and we have to be very cautious because they are both. I ascertained both of them have very good reputation. The girl, as a student, her classmates told me, because I have been to lecture in that NUJS university, then law university, National University.
But Mr. Swami,
so
when we get into reputations, there
are
many cases where people of impeccable reputations
I agree,
have committed.
But therefore, all the more reason that in the process you go through an investigative process. That's all we are asking. Today, I can say that it's very easy for any agency. I'm not saying it's happened here, but it is very easy for any agency hurt by somebody who has taken an action against them, say for example Ganguly.
But Mr. Swami, that's a long-standing argument that is made by many who feel that this will be used as a political tool, as a vendetta tool.
That is precisely why we need an investigation. Now, in the case of the Supreme Court, they didn't know at that time. I was also there when somebody raised this matter that they should be. The Supreme Court did not know that it was an ex-judge. He did not know that the intern was not on the rolls of the Supreme Court. But that is also seen as the Supreme
Court dabbling in technicalities. Let me bring in Shabnam Lone, who works in the Supreme Court. Yes. And Shabnam Lone, as the author of the Vishaka Guidelines, and so is, I'm talking about the Supreme Court, which is the author of the Vishaka Guidelines on sexual harassment at workplaces, the Supreme Court could have demonstrated how institutions can go beyond legal obligations to deal in such cases. I mean, we have seen that the Supreme Court has gone beyond its brief when it comes to the Colgate investigation, for one. As somebody who works in the Supreme Court, are you disappointed by what this probe panel has come forth with? The fact that it has just pretty much ended as a probe or a fact-finding probe and not really directing any action.
No, Mahrukh, I'm not disappointed with the Supreme Court panel. The learned judges have taken note of the complaint of the intern. Since she is not on the roll of the Supreme Court, and since Justice Ganguly had demitted office, they have, in my opinion, given a fair opinion. What they have said is that prima facie, we find that there was an unwelcome advance. Now let me make it very clear. Prima facie evidence does not mean conclusive evidence. Now, it's not only the Supreme Court. We had the Law Minister's statement today, who said that the Supreme Court should have done something more. So we find both the judiciary, executive, and now other agencies jumping into the matter. This is a case which can be now solved purely by filing of an FIR. I agree with the learned
we understand that.
When they
we understand that is due course of law, but we are talking about the judiciary's role in this. And many have raised the point that this was a test case for the judiciary. And when we talk about institutional integrity, especially of the Supreme Court, where we've seen several cases, innumerable cases, where the court has taken suo moto cognizance of several issues and brought them out, and there have been trials and retrials in several cases. Why not this? Has it treated one
No,
of
but
its own with kid gloves?
No, I don't agree with that view, Maruk, at all. I don't agree with that view. Supreme
Vikas
Court
Singh?
set up a panel.
No, Vikas Singh, let me ask you.
They have.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Singh, Shabnam Lone, who works in the Supreme Court, a learned lawyer, says that the Supreme Court probe panel has not disappointed. Do you agree with that viewpoint? Do you see in one way the futility of this probe panel having been formed? Okay, we'll go to Vikas Singh in just a bit. Shabnam Lone, continue. You were saying something there.
You see, what I'm saying is that the Supreme Court probe panel did a fair job. Supreme Court cannot sit as a court of evidence. It is not the job of the Supreme Court to go and collect evidence now. It is the job of the court which has jurisdiction.
A stronger statement at the end. A stronger statement at the end, Shabnam Lone, is what people are asking.
Yes.
And strong observation at the end by this probe panel. Would that also have been overstepping its brief as far as a fact-finding committee is concerned?
No, they have given a very fair observation. What else could they do? They have given a fair observation. There is nothing else they could have done.
Miss Lone is absolutely right. See, they were, after all, what they examined Mr. Ganguly, they examined her, and then they gave an opinion. In my opinion, their opinion has been misrepresented. They didn't say that there was a prima facie case of misbehavior. What they're saying is that whatever she has said, if you see this sentence, discloses that thing of a prima facie, and therefore, automatically has created, now no police station can say, or even the court, if it is to issue a summons to Mr. Ganguly, can say no to because of the fact that the prima facie case is disclosed in her statement. Now, as Ms. Lone correctly said, this is not conclusive. Now the investigation will start. The Supreme Court was not a commission of inquiry. They didn't set up a commission inquiry. They didn't have the CBI telling them what happened or the IB telling them what happened. They had only these two statements, and they've said they've done the maximum.
Okay.
Had they known on the first day that he was not a sitting judge of the Supreme Court, they wouldn't even have done this much.
I agree to disagree, Mr. Swamy, but I'll have to leave it at that. To all my guests, Mr. Vikas Singh, Subramaniam Swamy and Shabnam Lone, thank you so much for joining me on Newsnight.